Hey, what's up guys and welcome back. And if you want to support me, my PayPal will be in the description. If you're not aware of what I'm talking about, just go ahead and check out the update video. And yeah guys, so let us jump into this brand new episode. Part 4 of What If Naruto Wasn't a Naive Idiot, guys. Also, I posted a brand new episode over on Making 3 of part 3 of What If Naruto Was a Viltrumite, so go ahead, check out that and enjoy. So don't forget to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 more channels that I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead, check out the other channels and enjoy. So without further ado or wasting any more time, let us jump right into this brand new episode. Let us begin now guys. So the last part that we left off, Naruto had warned Kakashi that they weren't ready. He warned him that he would have to protect all of them if things got too dangerous. After dealing with the demon brothers, they ventured off, making their way towards the land of Wave. However, things got rather dangerous when Naruto surpassed expectations by being better than any of them expected. Because of that, he was able to bypass everyone in his way. Haku had to strike Naruto down by hitting him with a Senbon in order to slow him down. With Naruto's slowdown, Zabuza had the opportunity to slash him, causing Naruto to fall into the water. Naruto could have fought much more, but instead, he seemingly gave up, which was odd. Finding himself in front of the nine-tailed fox, as the boy and the fox had a greeting for the first time. Even the fox was curious because one of Naruto's first things to notice was how isolated the fox was. How lonely the fox must be in here by himself, locked away from the world. The beast did not give off too much emotion for that though, it being a very powerful beast that did not care that much about humans. However, Naruto's lack of fighting was rather concerning, yes. He wasn't fighting that hard to survive, which was concerning for most things. However, his mind seemed to change. As he said many times before, he was a very complicated person. His mind changed as the fox chakra flooded in him, allowing him to get up and allowing him to make Kakashi get free. In doing so, another battle took place, and this time Kakashi wasn't playing around. Naruto faced off against the hunter ninja that was hiding off in the distance, but the hunter ninja was able to flee away. Exhausted from the battle, they made their way back towards the home of Tazuna. Upon arriving there, they were greeted by the others. They spent the next couple of days there, as Iniri, the son of Tsunami, was angry at them. Extremely so, he was upset that they were acting so casual. Naruto put Iniri's life on the line by targeting him, showing the boy that he didn't want to die, he wanted to live. Yes, he needed and he wanted to live. Naruto ended up walking out as Sakura was sent by Kakashi to speak to him, given the conversation that Naruto had with Kakashi earlier. As Naruto never said that he truly forgave the man for not being there for him, but also Naruto was curious about their profession as ninjas. Kakashi was growing rather concerned about Naruto's behavior. This lack of care and this questioning his own mortality in a way that was seemingly rather concerning in the copy ninja eyes. He's seen behavior like this before, and it wasn't something that they could allow to spiral out of control. However, Sakura made good promise in becoming Nuta's friend. Once again, she felt strange. Something was just rather odd when talking to Naruto. From the moment that he brushed the eyelash from her cheek, she felt strange. She couldn't understand what it was. However, in that moment, they became friends. She was his first friend this age. So it was new. Yes. And as she was learning, he was a very complicated individual. Naruto made his way and ended up meeting Haku. It was then that Naruto found out that he was a censor. Learning more about himself as he went on, his senses being exposed to unusual things, that being none other than Zabuza and his people and the chakra. It was able to push Naruto's senses into overdrive. With that, Naruto attacked Haku, but it wasn't his desire to take him down. Naruto would simply like to know why. Haku asked him a question about his important people, but Naruto was having a hard time answering that question. When the day finally came, Naruto was the one that stayed behind, handling the thugs. Naruto made his way. He hated to kill people, but the thugs went after Inari, a child, so Naruto put them down. Arriving there, Naruto was able to fight, clashing against Haku using his own knowledge of the dome to his advantage, as Haku chakra could not withstand a long-term fight, and Naruto was going to ensure that he dragged the fight out because Haku's speed was greater than his. However, problems struck when Sasuke took a brunt of senbons for Naruto and seemingly died. Naruto lost it. He beat Haku to a pulp. Haku wanted to give up, claiming that he was a tool, having nothing to live for. Naruto grabbed his neck and squeezed until Haku started to fight, but he did not let go. Naruto started to cry, showing his dislike in ending people, but the mere fact that he looked Haku directly in the eyes, bypassing that into his soul, was truly painful for him in that moment. Haku fell as Naruto arrived. Kakashi destroyed Zabuza's heart, ending the man's life. Gato arrived. His words and actions pushed Naruto into overdrive. Naruto picked up Zabuza's sword and committed a massacre. He slaughtered dozens. He bisected Gato. In the end, Kakashi had to knock him out, fearing that Naruto was losing control, but something quite abnormal happened in that moment that the copy ninja wasn't quite aware about. So yeah guys, basically as per left off, you guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself so to be in this new episode. Watching the life drain out of his eyes, his hand wrapped around his neck so tightly, as the life slowly left him. Things were different though. Naruto was seeing himself choking himself, just like how he squeezed the life out of Haku as he saw the light leave his. Naruto jumped up, looking around, finding himself within the home of Tazuna. He was alone. He picked himself up, looking down towards his hands. The memories came back like a tsunami, flooding into his mind. That twisted look on Haku's face as he gasped, struggled to breathe, as he choked the life out of him. However, he had his reasons on why he did that. He killed his teammate. He warned him, and yet he still took Sasuke's life. Naruto paused. Having arrived to this place, Naruto found out that he was a censor due to the violent amount of chakras that had been raging around him. It was like they awakened his third eye, allowing him to feel, allowing him to be aware of the world even more. So why? Why was he sensing? Immediately Naruto ran downstairs, only to be greeted by everyone. Surprised though as he saw Sasuke, all bandaged up. Someone crashed into Naruto. It was Inari, hugging him, thanking him, but Naruto wasn't paying attention that much. As Kakashi had told them what happened, Gato was no longer their problem. Naruto had kept his promise and Inire was so grateful. Naruto looked towards the family there. He patted the child on the head without even looking down. "We need to talk," he said. He was talking to Sasuke. Sasuke was confused, but Naruto simply walked out. The Uchiha followed behind Naruto. Sakura looked towards her sensei, but he stopped her from going out. On the outside, Sasuke looked at Naruto wondering what the hell did he want to talk about. His attitude was just default that way. "Don't do that again," said Naruto. Sasuke expected Naruto to ask him how he was alive, but that wasn't what he got. "Do what?" "Don't do that ever again. You know what I'm talking about." Sasuke was a bit confused. "In that moment you told me that you have a reason, a goal, an ambition, even if it is filled with revenge and hatred. To get revenge on your brother for what he did." Sasuke remembered telling Naruto that in the end, when he thought that he was going to die. "Don't ever put your dream on the line. Don't ever put your own life on the line for mine." Naruto's statement was coming as a perplexing thing to the Uchiha. Naruto started to walk. "You should be thanking me," Sasuke said. However, Naruto grabbed him and slammed him against the house, causing the Uchiha to wince in pain. "I'm not going to tell you this again. Do not risk your life for mine. I never asked you to. And I didn't want to do it, but it was instinct," Sasuke said. "Why? What if you had died? What if you lost your chance to get your revenge? What would you have then? Given your life up for someone that you barely know? And don't go on with this bullshit that we're on the same team or something, because that doesn't matter. This is your life. Once you're gone, you're not coming back. Do you understand that? What the hell is your problem? It's like you want to die," Sasuke said, knocking Naruto's hand away from his despite the pain that he was in. His body was still a bit sore. However, Sasuke grew concerned when he saw the expression on Naruto's face after those words. "Wait, do you?" "Of course not," said Naruto. "Do I look suicidal or something to you? You're my teammate. I get that we're supposed to have each other back. However, I cannot fulfill your dream for you. You told me in your final moments that is something that I cannot do, it is yours. So don't give it up just because of me," Naruto said, walking away. Sasuke was confused, and a part of him was concerned why he had no living idea. It was Naruto. He was such a weird, complicated person. Sakura was happy to see that Naruto was okay, unaware of what they spoke about outside. But she was just happy. After all, it was because of this trip that Naruto and her became friends. Time skip. After remaining behind for a bit more time, in order for the bridge to be completed, Team 7 said their goodbyes. As they left, they were unaware that the bridge was named after the one that ended all of this. That is how the people saw it. Naruto was the one that put Gato down, and thus, Inire was the one that shouted the name. He was the one that gave Inire hope once again. So it was just fitting to name the bridge the Great Naruto Bridge. They did a rather long service, so they got some time off when they returned back to the village. However, Naruto was called by the Hokage. Arriving, the man gestured for Naruto to have a seat. Naruto sat there, waiting to hear what was going on. "How are you feeling?" Hiruzen said. "Is something wrong?" Naruto asked. "No, I'm just curious about how things are coming along. You want to know how I'm settling in with Team 7 and about everything else?" We haven't talked in some time, Naruto said. Exactly, Hiruzen said. Well, if you must know, I've been questioning a lot lately. About this world, about this code, about this life that we live. I killed Mizuki some time back, and that was the first time I killed someone. And now, I killed 2 people that were trying to harm a child. I killed a young boy that believed he was doing the right thing for the sake of his master. And I killed 29 thugs. I counted each and every one of them. My mind was cloudy and foggy, but I saw the life left their eyes. And I killed a very powerful and rich man, Gato, in a short amount of time. And all of this is making me wonder, was Haku right? That's the name of the person I killed, by the way. Are we ninjas just tools? Weapons without a service, without a life? You know that is not correct, Naruto. This is... Naruto cut off Hiruzen. Do I? You send us to kill people. Might not be indirectly, but it's missions. We're children, are we not? Why are we forced to do things like this? I understand that it's a norm, but each day I question it more and more. Why do we live in a world that wants us to keep on fighting, wants us to keep on killing one another? Why couldn't there just be normal jobs? There is, but most people go down a path of being a ninja. I don't understand why this concerns me so. I'm a child. I'm not supposed to give a damn about most of these things. I'm young, inexperienced. Why should I care about things that doesn't directly involve me? About the outside world, about other villages? Why do I care about people I kill that are evil? Gato sentenced thousands to death. In his lifetime, I'm sure. Those thugs wanted to kill children, and yet taking the life out of someone, removing them from this plane of existence. Why does it bother me? It bothers you because you're a human, Hiruzen said. You think this is a bad thing, but it's not. It means that you're not a mindless drone that enjoy or see death as nothing. You just have too much concerns and don't know how to properly understand them. That is why I believe you should have some sessions with someone. Sessions? You mean like a therapist? Yes, Hiruzen said, expecting Naruto to react wrong to this news, but okay. Hiruzen was rather surprised, as Naruto simply agreed to it. He didn't expect that. Not wanting to push more darker path, given the past and everything. Kakashi had told him everything, and Hiruzen did not know if Naruto even forgive any of them. However, he's already had a conversation with one of the head mind experts of this village to ensure that Naruto could be properly helped to go through this frustration that he was feeling. Naruto wasn't like your normal child. He put things on his head, he saw things. He saw through the weight of most child delusions. He wasn't naive. He wasn't an idiot. Time skip. Inoichi Yamanaka has dealt with some complicated case before. Some unusual cases, but this one took the cake. In the outside world, everything might seem normal, but beyond that surface, beyond that calm exterior was something that he never expected. Upon first meeting Naruto to have a conversation about how things are going, Naruto wasn't a person that kept things at bay. When you wanted to say something, he said it. It didn't matter how concerned you were for your own feelings. He said what was on his mind. He took everything off his consciousness. Inoichi got a lot out of the boy in one session than most people ever truly release about themselves. However, Naruto's mind as a child was problematic. His mind was stable, but it was so confusing and complex to a man like him. It was concerning. The child was exhibiting behavior of someone that was detached from everything. Despite being detached, feelings of concern roam where feelings of focus should be, which led the person to be overwhelmed by the smallest actions and yet be unconcerned by great actions. Say for example, killing someone. Doing it within the moment was not a bother, but the aftermath. But it wasn't just that. Thinking about it, understanding why you did it. You knew why, but however, the tiny details, those were the problems. It wasn't the death. It was why you had to do it. Inoichi was finding this boy rather complex. He had to bring in someone else. Being able to sit in on the session. He ran this by Naruto first, wanting to be open so the boy can trust him. The woman was known as Kurenai Ui. Kurenai was a genjutsu master. However, the spiritual aspect of genjutsu led her down path of trying to understand the coping and the focusing of one mind in order to bind certain illusions together. She had to understand it. She studied under Inoichi for some time. It was great praises from him that he brought her in for this truly complex and unusual case. As Naruto seemed to not have a problem with that. That was a big part of the reason. Naruto did not mind speaking to someone, even if it might seem like his actions make him seem unusual and crazy. Inoichi had promised Hiruzen that if things took a bad turn that he would inform him, but other than that he would keep Naruto privacy. He would not intrude on the truth and the privacy of their meeting by exposing every single information. Inoichi being a specialist and Kurenai being there to understand the small details that he might not too focus on, with the two of their mind coming together. This was highly unusual, given the fact that Naruto was a child, making things a lot worse. However, Inoichi would not intrude on Naruto's privacy that much by revealing everything to Hiruzen. So Naruto started to trust the man and open up. That is how he saw it, because Naruto spoke without a filter. His understanding was truly lacking in certain departments. He himself was trying to understand and Inoichi was trying to help him understand. But something like that was not easy. It wasn't easy one bit. Time skip. As the time went on, Naruto continued his sessions with the two, one-on-one sometimes, while Kurenai was there and sometimes Inoichi was not there. This case was special, so the two of them being there because of the aspects of his mind, not the physical but the spiritual. Kurenai was hesitant to take this at first. She had recently, well, not so long ago, have a similar problem with a girl. A girl that was residing somewhere within the depths of this village. That girl had a severe problem. Due to her mental unstable self, Kurenai was there as a stressed person to help her, trying to manage her stress, trying to break through her shell, and she was able to, but in the end Kurenai had to make a judgment, which involved sealing away the girl's power to stop her because she was too dangerous. However, she learned from her mistakes, but even then, she was still afraid. She didn't want to be the one to cause this child any more mental problem than he already has. However, truly sitting down and talking with Naruto, it made her realize a lot that she hadn't realized before. Things with Team 7 was going rather well. The team was balanced, with Naruto and Sakura friendship. They started to work together. Sasuke found Naruto to be a rather complex person. They hadn't spoke about what happened at the Land of Wave. They didn't speak about that once again, but Sasuke watched as Naruto deliberately helped him and saved him on missions. As they went on 2 dangerous missions since, they face off against an enemy in the Land of Waterfall. They also face off against a man that stole the Thunder Sword. So yes, they've done a lot. Sasuke was hesitant to do something when he came to risking his life, but he did once again jump in the way and got zapped by a lightning sword. Naruto did not say anything or question his actions. Sasuke was concerned about that part, finding himself wondering why the hell was he even being questioned for saving someone's life. Shouldn't they be thankful? It made him wonder if Naruto was more miserable than him, and why? Why would he be miserable? Perhaps that was a bonding thing between the two. As the both of them worked together, Team 7 was working together. Kakashi believed that he did the right thing, as Naruto seemed to be different. He didn't know how to explain it, but his small characterisms seemed to be a whole lot different, and that was good. The time came for a very special event, and Kakashi was questioning whether or not he should. However, when the event did pop up, he decided that Team 7, they were ready. After all they've been through, Kakashi making sure to be a good sensei because Naruto's words had really hit him deep. That they would die because he failed. He made sure that they were ready. Even Sakura, the one that doesn't like to push herself, started to actually take part in their training more proficiently, understanding that she needed a balanced diet because starving herself to get slim would only lead to fatigue and exhaustion and headache. Naruto was making his way at the moment. Absolutely nothing. All of this was a waste of time. They believed that they were getting to him, that they were fixing what was going on with him, but they were wrong. Naruto was even more concerned about this messed up world. To this day, no one can give him a definite reason why this made sense to them. They gave him the obvious answers. They fought for land, they fought for protection, this and that. But why the need to fight in the first place? How much people have died? He just can't understand. If a village leader lose over 10,000 people, why would you still send people to fight and kill? He doesn't understand that. Naruto didn't understand if they did not know what it felt like. He sometimes wondered what if he had the power to make them feel pain? What if he had the power to hit them with such an atrocity that they never want to do it again? However, he lacked that kind of strength. However, that was it. Why did that concern him? He did not live in any village. He lived in Konoha. He did not live in the village that started the war and chaos. Not that Konoha was peaceful. He could not judge the good as bad and the bad as good. Konoha was also wicked. No one was good. He knew that. They did what they had to do to survive. However, Naruto's question is understanding each day of why the hell does he care? It shouldn't bother him. None of this should bother him. And yet he does care about it. That is what he can't understand. And no one can give him the reason why. Because in order to give him the reason why, they have to give him a reason why the system is like this in the first place. And none of the bullshit standard answers. His hands in his pockets as he made his way. Hey, Naruto! Naruto paused as he saw Sakura. She ran up to him. What do you think Sensei want? Today was supposed to be their day off, but Kakashi called them in for a important piece of information. As they were making their way, Naruto shrugged, not quite sure. He gazed towards Sakura. She was one of his first friends. His only friend, to be really exact. Sasuke and him were teammates, but he wasn't sure, were they friends? They didn't really hang out together. Strangely enough, him and Sakura didn't really hang out that much. She did see him around the village and she did spend time with him, but Naruto wasn't sure what classified as a friendship. Given the levels, well, you had best friends, common friends, and long-distance friends. He supposed they were just close, being on the same team and all. Both of them were alerted by a ruckus, venturing down the pathway they came across. 3 kids from their village, one of them being held up in the air. He's just a child, Kankuro, put him down. Be quiet, Temari. A punk like this needs to learn his lesson. Hey, put me down! Shouted Konohamaru, trying to fight the older boy. The scene that the 2 ninjas had came across. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Sakura said, immediately jumping in as she noticed the headband. Why are you sand ninjas attacking him? Stay out of this, Pinky. This isn't your fight. That isn't much of a fight. He's just a child, she said. Hey, I'm not a child, said Konohamaru. As everyone blinked, she was trying to defend him. Even he seemed to realize that. Go on, he said. Kankuro raised his fist. Punks like these need to learn their lesson. However, his hand was grabbed. Temari and Kankuro were confused. They saw him when he entered the alley, but had they taken their attention off him so much that he was able to slip by their guard? Who the hell is this? There is no way I wouldn't notice him reaching. However, the real Naruto removed Kankuro's grip and placed Konohamaru on the ground. That was a clone that Naruto summoned that had jumped over the fence and went around. Kankuro knocked the clone in his face with the back of his hand, causing the thing to dispel. He then grabbed Naruto by the shirt. Did I give you permission to lay your hands on me? He said. You Konoha brats have been in a little box for too long, and I think it's about time someone teach you guys a lesson. How you deal with your superiors. He was holding Naruto by the shirt as Kankuro was gazing down towards Naruto, trying to intimidate him. However, Kankuro felt a chill run down his spine. Naruto wasn't angry or anything, it was the look in his eyes. That calm, calculated gaze that chilled Kankuro to his spine. It reminded him of someone. While it lacked the necessary killer intent, so calm, so frightening, Temari felt it as well. A stone hit Kankuro on the hand though, forced him to release Naruto. You shouldn't step into someone's village, causing much trouble. Sasuke crushed the other stone. You guys might get hurt. Another one? You guys just seem to be popping out of nowhere. Naruto was gazing up in the tree. Hey, I'm talking, Kankuro said. However, Naruto's gaze was not to Sasuke but to the other one. Sasuke froze. Kankuro. What the hell? The Uchiha said. Confusion in his voice. As Gaara, the 3rd member, arrived. Right in front of Naruto, his sand swirling. Naruto did not move an inch. His gaze focused on Gaara. None of them blinked, none of them flinched. It wasn't usual that people were able to stare down with their brother, so Temari was a bit surprised. Naruto's gaze was fixated on Gaara for a reason. He could feel it. It turns out that Naruto wasn't a normal sensor. He's been going over this since he returned. One of his so-called therapists was able to give him a few details about what exactly sensory was. Even a book to understand a sensory ninja and the different types. However, none of them explained what Naruto was, because he could feel it. He could feel the power, even behind the cage. And he could feel how loose the cage was. It wasn't as strong as his. It was weak, easily manipulated, easily override. Naruto's hand was moving forward without his knowledge. His body was just going by instincts. Gaara's hand shot out and wrapped around Naruta's hand. Seeing it as a great danger, even Gaara was surprised. Naruto looked at it as Temari immediately stepped. Gaara, stop, she said, knowing what actions would take place next. You're a Jinchuriki, said Naruto. Gaara narrowed his gaze, his sleepy eyes focusing on Naruto. He did not give him a definite answer, but the look on his face. Who are you? Said Gaara. Release my hand, said Naruto. I asked you a question. Who are you? Gaara said, feeling a strange, complicated feeling. There was something different about this one. His eyes, his aura. He's never come across one like this before. Let go of my hand, said Naruto. The sand slowly started to recede. Answer my question, Gaara said. Naruto looked at his hand. He flexed it. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I am Gaara, he said. Gaara of the desert. Tell me, Uzumaki, will you be a part of the exam? Yes, said Naruto. Gaara seemed to be happy. Something about this one. Something that would bring him delight once he ended him. He didn't understand it, so it had to be a crave of lust to kill. That had to be it. It had to be. The smirk on his face. Temari understand that all too well, and she worried for this one. Seeing the look in Gaara's eyes and that smirk, they made their way off. What exam was he talking about? Sakura asked. The Chunin exams. When were you placed in that? Sasuke said, jumping down. I figured today. What do you mean? I believe it's the reason why we're being called. I thought you said you didn't know. Sakura said to Naruto. I had my theories. I couldn't confirm it. What if it was a lie? I didn't want to lie. He said as they made their way. Naruto was right. It was exactly what Kakashi signed them up for. For the next 3 days, Naruto was MIA. He wasn't seen. Either he was training within the forest area, or he was at home, not seen that much within the village. When the day finally arrived, the both of them were there waiting. As Naruto finally showed up, Sakura was rather surprised. She seen Naruto with his shirt loose. However, due to the physical training, courtesy of the boat that was given to Naruto a long time ago, that began a lot of this, and that was because of my guy. The black t-shirt that Naruto now wear was almost skin tight, fitting for extra mobility. He was wearing a dark jacket over it. However, the jacket was open as he was zipping it up. Sakura was able to see underneath the jacket. Rather surprised as it clung to him, she immediately shook her head. She was becoming rather concerned. Naruto was on her mind. Yes, he was. Since he removed that eyelash from her cheek, he's been on her mind. Strangely enough, she hadn't even been thinking about Sasuke that much. Let's go, said Naruto. Yeah, she said, as they made their way. Kakashi Hatake was waiting, being early for a first it seems. It took some time for the remaining members of Team 7 to arrive, having gone through the first and the second part of the exam. Sasuke Uchiha was still seen as the better one, due to the last name. Kakashi saw the bruise on his cheek though, as he went up against Guy Student. It didn't end so well though. With that they arrived. Kakashi was just here to wish them luck, observing each and every member, telling them to watch each other back as they venture inside, but that wasn't something that he had to worry about. Team 7 was greeted by the faces of the others. Sakura was overwhelmed. everyone turning their sight upon them. Naruto had gone face to face with a fox, looking at the beast's ferocious snarl, so he wasn't that overwhelmed. Sasuke, his arrogance was too great for him to bow to anyone, and he was showing that very clearly. However, their attention was soon drawn as more teams started to enter. Ino and the others came in. As Ino jumped on Sasuke's back, Ino was surprised as Sakura didn't immediately attack her. After a while though, Sakura realized and snapped into focus as she started to tell Ino to get off and cursing with her. As the others started to file in, one after another, when someone came to offer them information. The person was there. Naruto was keenly watching him. Silver here with glasses. Naruto was watching him very carefully as he spoke information on Rock Lee and Gaara. His headband said Konoha, but how would he have information like that? How would he know how many missions a Sand Ninja went on? The only way that would be possible is if he watched him from the day that he became a genin until now, but that wasn't possible. So that meant this guy is not who he says he is. No one else suspects a thing, only focusing on the information part. What exactly does this mean? There is no possible way that a genin could gather information like this. It doesn't matter if he took the exam multiple times. Something was off. Something was off. Naruto felt it before they attacked. He felt the spike. Another reason why he wasn't like your average sensor. They attacked Kabuto, the Sound Ninjas, due to him disrespecting their home. Naruto watched as one of them swing. Kabuto collapsed down to the ground. Naruto gazed focused on the gauntlet on Dosu, a member of the Sound Ninja's arm. Naruto saw the tiny holes. How he moved his arm, how it affected Kabuto. How it broke his glasses. Do you have a problem as well? Dosu said, turning to face Naruto, trying to intimidate him with words. What Dosu never expected was for Naruto to step forward. No one did. Naruto's speed caught them off guard. He reached Dosu in a matter of seconds. His hand reached out. Dosu swung as Naruto ducked. Immediately Naruto jumped away. As he reached up and touched his left ears, looking at his hand, he saw blood. Naruto moved his finger around it. Impossible, Dosu said. There's no way he figured that out already from just seeing it once. I didn't get him completely, but he still should be a bit wobbly. Naruto got to his feet fully. Interesting, he said, finding the contraption and the way it was used rather interesting. However, things came to a stop when the proctor arrived. Time skip. Naruto wasn't an idiot. However, he wasn't a genius either. But these questions were not hard. Naruto never showed what he can do. He never showed that he knew the answers in the academy. However, Naruto saw 4 people in this room. 4 people that weren't doing absolutely nothing. Their test was already filled out. They pretend like they were doing something, but they weren't doing a shit. Naruto can see from the way they were moving their hands. And all 4 of them are set in a way for the others around them to cheat off of their paper. Why wouldn't they just kick them out when they found that they were cheating? No, they took points. Ah, I understand now, said Naruto. As the quest then came down to the final one. Give up and try again next year, or do it and fail and never be a genin. How stupid was some of these ninjas? Some of them hail from different villages and yet they got up and leave. How the hell could Konoha? How the hell could this man tell another village to not promote their genins? Are people truly that naive? Naruto questioned. Because they were children. They were just dumb, stupid children. But wasn't he one of those children as well? But he figured it out. He can't be the only one. He was correct as usual. In the end, Naruto and the others find themselves face to face with a gate. A ferocious, almost demonic look behind it. The sound of animals and creatures lurking in the dark. This was supposed to be their second test. He could feel the fear, feel that chilling sensation, and he could feel almost a lustful happiness from the proctor, excitement at their fear. Naruto felt something different though. What the hell was this? A feeling that felt covered and masked, like someone was hiding the truth, and they were doing a damn well job at doing so. However, Naruto turned and saw a grass shinobi, a woman. She noticed that he noticed her as she smiled at him. Naruto did not look away or blink. He just watched her. She watched him as well with that eerie look on his face. Anko saw that Naruto was not paying attention and decided to make an example out of him. She threw a kunai that sliced him on the cheek as she appeared behind him. You know, the ones who believe that they're better than this, too cocky to even pay attention, are the ones that die first. Anko felt something poke in her stomach. She was surprised, confused, gazing downwards. Seems this kid is not so bad. There was a kunai in Naruto's left hand. It was right behind him, poking her on the stomach, ready just in case. She chuckled as she licked the blood from his cheek. "I like you," she said. "Quick thinker." As she made her way back up with a smile on her face. Time skip. Team 7 was going through the forest. As they came up with a plan. It was too obvious to head towards the finale and wait until a tired team was there. Many teams would be doing that. If they thought of it, many others did. So they would ambush one of them right away, when they least expect it as the exam began. "But how are we gonna find them?" Sakura said. "Leave that to me," said Naruto. Moments later, Naruto's hand was wrapped around the throat of a ninja from the land of rain. However, this time though he released, the shinobi fell down to the ground unconscious. They weren't that strong. In fact, they were extremely weak. Taking their scroll was easy. Seems like we lucked out, said Naruto, throwing up the earth scroll in the air. It's time that they got out of there. Team 7 started to venture towards the forest. However, Naruto suddenly stopped on one of the branches. What is it? Both Sakura and Sasuke questioned, wanted to know what was the holdup. As Naruto felt it, the monstrous buildup of power. He grabbed the both of them. "Move," he said, throwing them to the opposite sides. However, the technique was much faster than he ever expected. A violent gust slammed into Naruto and the other two were thrown violently. He was the one that got the full brunt as Naruto crashed through a tree. These trees were not normal, they were so thick and luscious. His head slammed into a piece of boulder as he blacked out. Sakura's scream alerted Naruto as he jumped up, gripping onto his head that was pulsating. Naruto dashed through the forest despite feeling blurry and everything feeling hazy, only to arrive to see Sakura trying to pull herself out of the small little dish that she was thrown violently in. Sasuke was struggling. Naruto has been blacked out for a couple of minutes, but in those few minutes so much happened. As Naruto saw the perpetrator that was behind all of this, having revealed his true face when Sasuke burned off the skin from his face. He bit down on Sasuke's neck. Naruto dashed forward and kicked. The man weaved under his blow and grabbed his leg and slammed him into the tree. However, 3 of Naruto clones appeared, while the other one that he slammed poofed away, revealing that he was also a clone. Sasuke was grabbed, by a ninja wire that was tied to his ankle that yanked him downwards. As the real Naruto caught him, Sasuke, now free, the clones jumped in the way to block the escape. Wind style. Great wind breakthrough. Naruto released a thunderous blast that ripped the branch and everything, including his clone, to pieces. He gazed up while holding the unconscious Uchiha in his arms, only to feel someone behind him. Clever move, but not fast enough. Naruto ducked, trying to come up, but the person kicked him in the face. He was sent sailing as he crashed hard. His vision blurry as he got up, feeling the blood dripping from his forehead. The person stepped towards him. I'm impressed, standing so tall despite knowing that I am your better. It seems you are something indeed special, Orochimaru of the Chunin said as he licked his lips. However, something abnormal happened. Orochimaru saw the blood that was on his forehead fizzle away. An illusion, he thought. Got you. Boom! An explosion ripped through the entire place. Swallowing the Chunin up, it shot into the trees, sending the animals scaring away. Meanwhile, Sakura was grabbed by the original while a clone grabbed Sasuke as they took off, immediately leaving the vicinity. Naruto wasn't an idiot. As strong as he was, he couldn't take on that man. He knew that face, Orochimaru of the Chunin. A battle between them would be like a mountain going up against the ants, and in that scenario he was the ants. Orochimaru escaped unscathed, being so fast as to switch himself without the explosion even cinching him. The Chunin was impressed though, having an idea of what Naruto did. The child arrived and took 5 seconds to analyze everything. In those 5 seconds, he created 3 clones to plant so much explosives. He then created 5 to use as a distraction. He then created another one with a larger pool of chakra to withstand a blow from him. But not only that, he placed an illusionary genjutsu over it to show that it was bleeding, to make him believe that it was the original, to draw him in. The Chunin was truly impressed as he turned his gaze to where they left. However, he had no desire to go after them. His plan was already set. The Jinchuriki was surprising though. More better than he originally thought. Smarter. Quick on his feet. Now this is rather promising, the Chunin thought as he made his way. Time skip. Naruto had no idea how to stop the process, but whatever this seal was, it seemed to be rooted within Sasuke's system already. So removal at this stage would be basically killing the Uchiha. So they had to wait. As Sakura tended to Sasuke's wounds, placing a wet cloth on his forehead trying to keep his fever down, Naruto sat there and watched. Day turned into night as the both of them were there. Why do you think he was here? With everything going on, they barely focus on that. I don't know. But his main target seemed to have been Sasuke, said Naruto. She gazed over towards him. Don't worry. If anyone can overcome this, it's Sasuke. His arrogance is too great to allow simple sealing art to take him down. Yeah, you're right, she said, taking hope in Naruto's words. Sakura ended up falling asleep. As her head was resting right on Naruto's lap, she fell asleep, having been talking, and exhaustion overcame her. Due to the both of them being in a rather compromising position, Naruto did not sleep. Despite the tears of dreams trying to grip him, he focused and kept himself awake. And he waited when he felt it. 3 of them. However, they didn't attack right away. So Naruto waited to see what they have. Waited to see what they want to do. When Sakura woke up, she found herself resting on Naruto's shirt, the jacket that he was wearing. As she saw Naruto standing there, Did you get any sleep? She asked. I'm fine, but we have a problem, said Naruto. What is it? There are 3 shinobis outside waiting on us. They know that we're here. They've been waiting since last night. Why didn't you wake me? She said. I wanted to make sure that you were well rested, so we can handle this problem without much of a fuss. Sasuke is out of commission, so they have the numbers. Well, that is what they believe, said Naruto. How are we gonna do this? She said. I have an idea. Moments later, Naruto stepped out. I know that you're there. There's no traps or nothing waiting for you. So come on out. After 5 seconds, the 3 sound ninjas were standing there. Brave of you to step out against all of us. Or perhaps you're just dumb, said Zaku, the cocky one of the group. Come on, Zaku, he's alone. He must be afraid, said Kin. Don't let her looks fool you, she was ruthless. Dosu, the smart leader of them all. Do not take him lightly, Dosu said. Come on, even if he was that strong. It's 3 against 1, Zaku said. Someone's gonna die today, said Naruto. And I can assure you that it's not gonna be me, or anyone inside of there. So I'm gonna give you 3 a chance. Leave this place, and your life will be spared. I've been through a lot already in this goddamn forest, and I truly despise when people come after my team, because I care about them. And the thought of you or any one of you killing them, it's angering me to a level that is gonna make me do something brutal. So I'll give you a chance. Run away, and we can forget about this. Huh. Are we supposed to be afraid? Zaku said. Well, if that is what you are going for, you fail. Because we're here for the Uchiha. Why? Said Naruto. That's none of your business, Zaku said. So hand him over or someone will die here. You and the other bitch inside of there. What did you say? You heard me. You and that. Naruto released a violent great wind breakthrough that sent all 3 of them jumping away. That was fast, Zaku said. But he's not. Zaku was surprised as Naruto grabbed his arm, the both of them in mid-air. They landed on a branch. A kunai was at Zaku's throat as Naruto was applying a terrible amount of pressure to his arm. He winced in pain. I warned you, said Naruto, and yet you didn't take my warning. You two, I'll give you one last chance. Run away. Even if we do, we're going to need our teammate. I can feel what you want to do. Being this close make it a lot better, said Naruto. You idiot, Zaku said. Kill me and they will attack you. And it's just 1-on-2, so they will strike you down. So release me and I'll talk to them, and you can live to see another. Zaku was cut off as he started to gurgle. Kin and Dosu was shocked. They weren't expecting it as Naruto split his throat. Blood sprayed on his arm. Naruto dropped the body down to the ground as Zaku fight to stay alive, but he failed miserably. Kin immediately launched several needles towards Naruto. Naruto deflected 3, but bells started to ring. Naruto gripped his ears. Dosu dashed forward. He rushed in and swung. However, suddenly, he came to a stop. What's going on? Why did you stop? Said Kin. He's already dead. Kin froze. Naruto stood behind her as Dosu's head rolled off his shoulders. That was a clone that poofed away. The original never jumped behind Zaku. The original was waiting. Keep in mind that Naruto took several techniques from the Forbidden Scroll, and this was his most dangerous technique. Most around their age would not be able to see it properly, especially when in the midst of a battle. The moment those who jump Naruto release it, the wind release, vacuum spear. He could release multiple at once. However, when he focused on one and compress it, it was able to slice through bones pretty easily. It split through Dosu's throat, removing his head. Kin was frozen where she stood. Please, don't do this, she said. I'll leave. I won't bother you guys anymore. She didn't want to die, and she was afraid. Look at me, said Naruto. She slowly turned and gazed into his eyes. She felt like a mountain had dropped on her shoulders. She felt like she was about to wet herself as she gazed into his cold, unfeeling eyes. Do you think I wanted to do that? Do you think I enjoy claiming a life? I warned you. I told you to leave, and yet you still. What's wrong with you people? And now you're shivering like a leaf because you saw that I was taking my threat seriously. Naruto said, gripping her by the throat. Wait, you don't have to. I can. She didn't get to finish as Naruto buried the kunai up to the hilt in her chest, releasing her corpse as it dropped down to the ground. He released a heavy breath. He didn't want to do any of that. He warned them. He gave them so many chances, and yet they were going to kill someone on his team. They were going to affect his friends, affect his life. Why should he put theirs above his? If they weren't smart enough to know when to retreat, Orochimaru was stronger than him. The first thing he thought about was an escape plan, not to fight the goddamn man. And when someone gave you an opportunity, test trying to understand the severity of the person's strength. No. You believed that you were superior just by looks alone. And thus, Sakura stood at the entrance, frightened by what she saw. Having never truly witnessed Naruto this cold before. I'm sorry you had to witness that. She swallowed thickly. No, you did what you had to do. I heard him say that he wanted Sasuke. You seem afraid, said Naruto. In your eyes now, do I look like a monster? He asked. What? No, she said. You're my teammate. You did what you had to do to protect us, right? Yes, said Naruto. I stained my hand with blood. I despise this feeling. But I had to protect the ones I care about. They snapped their gaze as the both of them felt it. A wicked, evil sensation. Stepping out was none other than Sasuke. Sasuke blinked. What the hell happened? He saw Naruto removing his shirt as he was stabbed in the shoulder with a kunai. Sakura was standing there, holding on to him. What's going on? He said, confused. You don't remember? You came out with these flame markings on you and attacked Naruto. He didn't want to fight you. But you didn't seem to be in control. That mark that Orochimaru put on you, it was taking control of you. Sasuke was surprised, having no recollection of any of that, as Naruto removed the kunai. His body started to heal. He opened his mouth to say something. There's no need to say anything. You are not in control, said Naruto. He pulled out 2 scrolls. Are you okay to move? He asked, looking at Sasuke. Yeah, Sasuke said. Let's go then, said Naruto as they made their way. Meanwhile, arriving to the village was another Sanin. However, things were about to become a whole lot more complicated as Jiraiya, aka Naruto Godfather, arrived. Kakashi had not questioned Naruto about how he felt about him again, and Naruto had not given an answer or said anything about it. However, this was different. This man was supposed to be his godfather. He went straight to the Hokage Tower. Hiruzen immediately could see the future. We need to talk, he said. The man was serious. But guys, be end episode right here. If you want to see the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But the most, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.